welcome back to the course. So in this lecture, we have a quick one for you. This one is a tried and true way of coming up with potential business ideas. So the way that this one works is you go back to the sheet that we had previously, where we did the top 10 hobbies, skills, passions, and experiences. And what you want to do is get rid of the experiences and get rid of the passions and just focus on the two sheets, hobbies and skills. Now, all you want to do is put them side by side. Now, see whether or not there is something of value that you can create between matching two of them. So what do I mean? Well, hobbies are things that you do for fun. These are things you're going to be interested in working on. These are other things that people are interested in working on. And then skills are things that you're capable of doing, things that you're good at doing. Generally, when you can combine the two, making and doing and being good at something with something that you enjoy doing and other people also enjoy doing, you can build a kind of rudimentary framework for business ideas. You pretty much have the action in your skills, then you have the passion or the motivation for you to tackle this problem, the hobbies, and then you have the customer demand or customer interest in the fact that it is a hobby. Everyone else probably has a similar hobby. Now, doing it's really not that hard, so let's just make up two. Let's say I had a hobby of baking and my skill was web development. I'm going to use those two. One, why? Because baking's pretty random and web development is not particularly random. I know a lot of my students are web developers. Okay, what's something of value that you could create that has to do with web development and baking? Well, at a very minimum, you could create a blog that advertises recipes and then you could sell advertising space on that. That's a small business. You could make an online e-commerce shop where other people could list their recipes or their baked goods and other people could buy it. That's a little bit larger of a business that does combine the two. Or maybe you can think of some value-adding mobile application or web application that can help bakers, something that maybe helps them save their recipes or helps them put timers or helps them swipe through a list of steps in a recipe as they go through and tells them when to move on to the next one. And maybe they can even share within it how well the item came off and saves it for later if it's something they liked and they can share with their friends. I'm literally just rattling this off my head. Okay, now we have any of those will potentially work, but remember from the very first lecture, that's not a complete idea. So now that we have a pairing between the two, we need to stick a business model on top. Now, we haven't done the business model section of this course yet, and if you want to, you can skip ahead to the next section where we just go over new business models, and we cover new business models because they're new. And they're very disruptive, which means that there's a lot of opportunities to use them even in old, stale industries. So you can literally just go down the list and make up a combination of the three, list them all out, and then pick which one you like the most. So to do a miniature version of it, let's say we'll start with on-demand. Okay, well, web development, bakery, and on-demand are my three. So I would say that you can make a on-demand mobile application for delivering freshly cooked baked goods. All right, no, I don't know, why not? And then the next one, let's say shared economy. Well, what you could do is make an application for people who bake and frequently have leftover baked goods. So what they can do is create a market for selling the extras. So maybe you have a courier system that for everybody who bakes 100 things, maybe they have an extra 20, and they want to sell those 20 to cover the cost of the 100. They have a courier system that picks them up and sells them to other people who want to eat them. I don't know, you can go somewhere with that. Subscription service. For this one, you could potentially do a recipe website, maybe customized recipes. You pay $10 a month, and every week you get some recipe that's customized with video tutorials that are very specific and very helpful. It's not public content. It's really as simple as that, guys. Pick two, find something that makes sense, and then add all the business models on top of it. Pretty much always you can make some business out of this three. It's just whether or not it immediately makes sense to you and you can justify it to yourself. Now, the reason why I do this is rather obvious. If you have skills in your business, you're more likely to succeed. And then if you have hobbies that are related to your business, you're more likely to be passionate about it. You're more likely to be motivated by it. And that's often one of the most important elements, because if you're motivated to fix problems, motivated to spend the correct amount of time to figure out whether or not it's worth it, and do long hours. Okay, so at home, do it yourself. Grab your sheet, pick two based on skills and hobbies. ignore the other two, and see if you can make a story up between the two and see if you can figure out something you could make that's value adding. Don't focus on things people would necessarily buy right now. We're just thinking of something that's value adding. Then try to stack on a business model on top. Read those out loud until you have a couple that you might be interested in, and then move on to the next stage, which is evaluation, and we'll cover that in section 7. And then theoretically, if you evaluate it, you don't like it, it's really rinse and repeat. Go back to your list, pick another combination, and go down the list again. You guys would be surprised how many businesses are actually started this way. Whenever you hear someone tell a story of, I did it because I was interested in this space, or I had a specific skill or a hobby, that's how they got into it. To make this point loud and clear, we use baked goods and web development and then a business model. Well, if you're familiar with the founder of eBay, billion-dollar company that's been around forever, his hobbies were Beanie Babies, his skills were web development. He had a problem for selling them, and so he picked a business model of auction site. And well, the rest is pretty much history. That's actually how the guy started it. And then from there, it just kind of took off, and he spread to other items and spread to other functions, and then it became that massive evil monster that it is today. Okay guys, go out there, try it yourself. Post in the group discussion if you need help or have any points of clarification that you also need help on. Otherwise, see you in the next lecture.